Janice is the founder of Mommy Mundo and Mompreneur Philippines, an empowered mother of 3 and a parenting and mompreneur advocate. She is committed to shining light on inspiring moms and being an inspiration herself in all that she does. Whether she's organizing events, spending time with her family, or on the go, Janice gives everything, she does her all, and that is what makes her the inspiring individual that she is today.
Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of In Love With Me, where we feature inspiring individuals who share their amazing stories. I am your host, Mafe Yunan Velasco, and for this series, our topic is passion and purpose. For this episode, we have an empowered woman, founder of Mommy Mundo, a mom, and she is here to motivate us to take action. So without further ado, let me welcome the beautiful and amazing Janice Villanueva. Hi, Janice.
Hello, Mafi. Good morning from here. Good evening to you.
Yes. You are in Canada right now, right?
Yes, I am. Yes, that's right.
And
So we are in the East Coast of Canada.
it's so amazing. You're still able to organize and build your community and Mommy Mundo with a very exciting event this weekend. But before we talk about
Yeah.
that, and before I ask you what you've been up to, especially there in Canada, can you share with everyone on how you are the empowered and inspiring woman that you are today?
Oh, thank you, Mafi, for this opportunity to share. And thank you for recognizing and appreciating. You've always been part of Mommy Mundo since the beginning. I'm so happy that we were able to connect when you got back from the States and
Yes.
everything. So you're really part of our community. And when I started Mommy Mundo, it really just flowed from my own motherhood. So
Mhm.
actually, in school, back in school when we were still young and carefree, um, I was actually very reserved and shy. Although I would be an activator, I would call it. Like I would be an officer in class. I would really be the one to organize things. It was kind of a natural thing for me, and one of my passions to organize and to activate ideas. But on my own, I was really shy and reserved. So I didn't even like talking to people, or much less going on camera now. It's like really people still get surprised, those who know me from before. But when I became a mom, that's when everything started for me. Like, this episode is really apt. Passion and purpose is also my mantra. Because
Wow,
I
perfect.
guess my journey, yeah, really perfect. So thank you. It really is proof that passion can bring you to places that you won't even imagine. And if you're rooted in purpose, um, it just makes it more fun and fulfilling because it feeds your soul, right? So I guess in a way, when I became a mom, all the ideas started coming in. It really stemmed from my own needs as a mom and knowing what is out there and what's not available. At that time, I started a nursing wear brand. That was my first business. It was because I wanted to breastfeed in public and I didn't want to be like struggling with my clothes and expose myself, right? You know how it feels. So it came from needs. It really came from needs. And it pushed me to really get out of my shell, uh, and really make the most of my talents, that whatever talents God gave me, just really trying to maximize. And luckily, I would be people would come along the way to help me and push me out of my shell, um, and challenge me, I guess. And that's how it started. Like I guess I say that I built it brick by brick. I didn't plan for Mommy
Yeah.
Mundo to be my life. It really is a full time passion for me. But I didn't plan it at all. I just wanted to be a mom with a small business on the side. But it grew from my own needs. I would put in a brick depending on my need. So breastfeeding, and then when they grew, I wanted to have like my directory of resources. Do you remember that? I had the directory
Yes.
called Mommy Pages because there was no
That's how we got
Google.
reconnected again. Remember? I reached out to you. I was like, "Hey, do you remember me?" Or because I found it. I guess I had kept one for a long time, and then that's when I could reconnected
Yeah,
with you. Because when we came back, I was like,
that's
"Hi,
right.
do you remember me?" So
Mate,
it's so
I was just gonna
amazing.
tell you, last month when I was looking for your name because I wanted to invite you right to our expo,
Yeah.
mom. You're one of our speakers, and I looked at your
Yes.
entry in my phone. It says model Mafe Yunon. Because I would get you for our events, right? As a
Yeah.
model or fashion. Because I would do events. I had an events company and Mafe was like
Mhm.
my suke model. And then you'd bring in your model friends. Oh, it's so much fun. So that was your entry in my phone book.
In my phone.
So
Yeah,
there.
and
So that's
I
how
feel
I
as though
started. Yeah.
like you were saying, you've built Mommy Mundo brick by brick, and I feel as though me becoming a mom grew with Mommy Mundo because I think from my first child that I gave birth to, I think it was part of one of your
Yeah.
fashion shows, or maybe it was the second one. But I remember Nick was part
Yeah.
of it. It was like a Father's Day thing in Rockwell tent. And we even a newborn, we were changing the outfit, and I love how you created a community where other moms have support, and like you said, it was just coming
Yeah.
from your experience, your needs, your passion, and I think that's where it's so, I guess, you can feel the love. You can feel the love in what you do in your events. Even before you left for Canada, right? We had an event in Blue Leaf, and
Yes.
I love attending events because all the moms there support each other, and I
That's
think you
true.
built it that way. You built it that way where we can easily just ask anyone in the room for advice, or we already know.
Yeah.
We already know that
Yeah.
okay, she's gonna help me. Whether it's through my business
Yeah.
or just through support of motherhood, and it's always a positive. Your events. I feel like it's home. Like I just come in. It's like everybody's so welcoming. The Mommy Mundo team, young team that's always so energetic and welcoming.
Yeah.
Um, but how do you feel? I
Thank
mean, how
you.
many years has it been?
It's been 20 years. Actually, I'm on my 21st year. So my son, my
Wow.
eldest son, we're not. No, I'm a little more advanced than you. Well, almost in
Mhm.
terms of motherhood. My eldest is 23. So when I was pregnant with him, so it means 24 years ago. That's when the seed grew in my head, my crazy head, to
Wow.
to do something. But I didn't really activate until I had my second son. So my first event was with my friends. I had four mom friends, Joanna Duarte, Vicky Halandoni, Pia Cayetano, she was a young mom then, Tessa Geronimo, and Candice Yao. We had a we had a group called the Moms Team. It was called Moms Towards Moms Towards Educated and Active Motherhood. Oh, cool, right? We're like, what team? Moms
Nice.
Team.
Yeah.
And we our first event was so funny. It was Moms in the New Millennium. And I remember at the time, people were so scared about the Y2K bug. So it's like,
Oh yeah.
wow, right? So dated na. But I started in 2000. That was our first event. And now 2020. So 20 years of
Yeah,
trying
that's
to
20
help moms.
years.
It's always been
Is
hinged on
it?
service. I would say that. So, Mafe, you're about to make me cry with with what you're saying about Mundo because really that's the ultimate for me is for someone to say Mommy Mundo is home. As in really that's and everyone in my
It
team
is.
they know that
Correct.
and they imbibed it. So I need to shout out to my team. They've been so hardworking,
Yes.
and especially now they're all tired, and I just keep saying last push, but I love them so much. I've been so blessed. But really,
Yes.
for someone to say it's home, and my joy is to see your families grow with us. Like, well, it's literally grow in number. besides growing height. It's growing height and number too. And see all our pictures.
There,
Those
yeah.
are so precious. I mean, that's really the gift.
I
I've been so
know.
blessed. So yeah,
Yeah,
that's really
it's
my
been
pride and
amazing.
joy. Thank you,
Mm-mm. It's been
Mafi.
so
Yeah,
amazing.
thank
You kept it consistent. I mean, I
you.
think in the beginning it was like maybe a one event a year or maybe
Yeah,
two
one
events a
event a
year. And
year.
now it's like every quarter you have
Yeah,
events, and you had mini pocket
yeah.
events too, where you
Mafe,
collaborate,
we
right?
actually do 45 events a year, 45 events a year all over the Philippines. But
Oh
now
my
with the
goodness.
pandemic, we've had to shift to
Yeah.
digital. I mean, Expo Mom, we do 12 a
Yes.
year, but now we're just doing two. It's a big shift. And if you really think about it, I might get really sad. But then right
Yeah.
now, we just have to make the most of what we have. And actually, it is a blessing. Like we were talking earlier about how we're more connected because of technology, and it is a gift. It's a gift. Yeah. So we have to keep looking at it that way. But I always also say that I'm blessed because the mom because moms are very expressive. Like
Yeah.
I will not be scarce in hearing words of appreciation. It's always thank you for helping me. Thank you. I mean, it's a of course moms are giving. So we really benefit from that. I mean, maybe that's why I'm also so motivated year in, year out. And what's funny? The times that I get tired, like for example, I get a negative, of course, it's part of it. I get a negative feedback, or I don't get the support I need. For example, business is hard. There would always be an email or a comment that would uplift me. For example, I get an email. A mom just gave birth, and then she'll say, your classes helped me through labor, and it's always at the right time. So I'd always say, Lord, thank you for. I know you're giving me some validation. So it's always good
Hmm.
timing. Don't you believe that? Like, and we have to
No, I
recognize
do. I
those
mean,
things. Yeah,
you were saying that it was like a crazy thought. I do believe that our thoughts are
yeah,
meant to be. I think there
yeah,
is God planting that seed, telling you, okay, you must do
yeah.
this now, because you
That's
just don't
right.
know how many lives that you're changing or saving or supporting. And I think after 20 years, you the reason why you're always, I guess, hungry to do more is because you saw uh, results. You saw like that. You
Yeah,
said feedback, the messages. I mean, I think that's
yeah,
your reward from
yeah.
all these years of just being that provider of support to women, and I think to dads too. Now I know
Yeah.
your husband is a huge
Yeah,
um,
yeah.
support
Dad bod.
system for you. Yeah, right. So
Just like
he
Nick.
also
Just
created
like Nick. He's
something for
always so
dads.
game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And dads also, I would say also need the support because especially in the Philippines, they're seen as providers, and they're seen as they need to be strong for the family. There's that stereotype. But
Yeah.
now the conversation among dads is changing too. Like the last we had the dad talk in Rockwell, and the dads were talking on stage, and the conversation was going this way. They would say, guys, it's okay to be vulnerable. So I was telling the mom beside me, God, talking about vulnerability. As in, they're talking about, and then my husband Gary was saying, guys, have you heard of language of love? The five languages of love. I was like, oh my God,
Yeah.
amazing. I mean, also Nick, like every time I invite you guys, he's not only always there, like he's game to really get in
Yeah,
there. And
of
yeah, and
course.
it's also really always surprising to me because he's so tall, and you think he's like poised, like he has, but then, oh my gosh, he's really a daddy. So yeah, thank you,
Yeah.
Nick, for all your
You know,
support. You're awesome.
what's amazing with that is I actually just told him, we were just talking about, our parenting styles. And just recently, I have to thank my guest tomorrow, Virago Sol. I don't know if you've
Yeah,
heard of I'll connect you guys. And they just did a
Sure.
feature on me about being a bonus mom, and I never heard that term.
Yeah,
And when
bonus
they asked me, I was
mom.
like, wow, that's amazing, because I've always felt as though, uh, my story with my kids, and I did share that in one of your events. Remember, you asked me to talk
Yes,
about,
I love that
what's
talk.
the title? Uh, Although I had a challenge with, I think there was another event behind us. So it
Mom
was,
empowerment.
yeah, Mom Empowerment, where it was the
I
first time
know, I
I
know.
spoke about
Yes,
my two older sons, who are, of course,
that's right.
angels that were brought to me, and I didn't think they,
Yes,
of course, in a relationship, or when you find your soulmate, you never think of that aspect of, oh, he's a package deal. I was able to share that with the community, Mommy Mundo. It was so, like, it was our
yeah,
first time. Yesterday was my second time sharing it, and now it's an actual article. And I'm just proud to share. Yes, I am a stepmom. Yes, I am not what the fairy tale
yeah,
stories are sharing. And that's something that, like, now I'm like, why are they teaching kids that? It's like, why are these popular
yeah,
um, children's stories, like, giving that concept of a step parent being mean, or being, not taking care of
yes.
the kids of their partner.
Yeah,
So I
contrabida.
appreciate, oh,
Yeah.
I'm like, come on, I'm experiencing it. And actually, it's a blessing in disguise for me. I really fell in love with three men, when I felt as though, like, it was only
Oh,
Nick. But really, I felt as though, and I think I did
yes.
share with you also, and when I did that speech, is that I felt as though God, allowed our union, so that I could, the boys, I could be there for the boys, and the boys could be there for me. Because now, like you
That's
said,
right.
when they get older, I mean, like, Nico is practically my best friend, my confidant,
Mm,
and mine too. And I see, actually, I'm inspired by you, because how close you are with your sons. I saw
yes.
your
I'm
post,
inspired by you too. Yeah.
you guys got a tattoo together. So I'm like, wow, I love it.
Yeah. That's
Speaking about
right.
your parenting style, of course, you support a lot of families, and you hear a lot of stories. Of course, you and your family have become somewhat of an inspiration or motivation to others.
Thank you.
How do you feel about that, and what keeps you inspired? Knowing me,
Yeah.
of course, as a human, and there will be times, or there are
Yeah.
times, you do not feel like, okay, I'm not a mentor. Like, how do you keep yourself inspired in a way that, yes, I am. I was giving this calling, this gift.
Yeah. Well, a few years back, I was thinking of how people kind of, I think in a way, it's also our fault that we made motherhood so serious. Like there was a time when we would have lessons on, of course, pregnancy, breastfeeding, all the baby care stuff. And then the topics were always all about disciplining your child, making him a good student, things like that. Um, and at a certain point, I felt that moms were taking motherhood too seriously. Of course, it is a serious matter, but we also have to have fun. We have to have it's and motherhood is supposed to be fun.
Yeah.
So my mantra in motherhood, or maybe my parenting style, if to not make it too formal, is really um, to really connect. I think the key is connection. Um, I love this quote that I live by. It's the quote says, sometimes we're too focused on raising good children, we forget they're already good children.
Yes. Oh, I love
So
that.
they're innately good. I mean, all our children innately good, and sometimes we're so focused on making them disciplined, making them achieve their purpose, use their talents. We bombard them with all these activities when really what they need is love and connection. So, especially with my kids now, they're older. I really make it a point to check in on them, how they're doing, have conversations, and try to have commonalities. It's harder because, especially with different sex kids, different gender kids, like they're boys. Um, you don't know what they're into anymore, but there is always a commonality you can connect with, whether it's an activity or an interest or an experience like that. So I think really I would say just have fun with your child. And during the tough times, of course, I would have tough conversations with them, especially when you're pushing them. Of course, it's not always harmonious, but just have conversations so that they know that whatever you're doing comes from love. I think that's where also their problems arise, when there's resentment because they think you don't care, that you just care about your own agenda. But really, we always come from love. Or maybe when we do things, we always have to check on our motivation. Where is it coming from? So, right now we have this module that we're running in Mommy Mundo. It's a bit modern compared to what we used to teach, but it's really something that comes with the times, when our children are very different from ourselves, and the way we were raised. So now my partner, Kit Malvar, she's our community program head. She runs a module called conscious parenting. And when you have a child who is triggering you or doing things that, for example, not cleaning his room, not obeying you, like you have to nag them about things, the first thing you do is to ask yourself, why are you triggered? So sometimes our motivation comes from our own ideals, that our kids have to have the room clean all the time. They have to take this course in school. They have to do well. So what is your motivation? And it's humbling. It's humbling to think that, oh, I'm just projecting my own needs, and you have to choose your battles in the end. So I think
Yeah.
I think in terms of parenting, I think it's the same with you. The way you connect with your children, I've seen that. I mean, you have amazing connections with, and it's all ages for you, which is like, and you can really see the bond, right? I mean, in
It's
the
also a
end,
roller coaster, right?
yeah, in
But
the
I've
end,
learned
that's what's gonna bring you through all the challenges, bring you through the happy and the not so happy times. It's the connection that you have to aim for, rather than if they're achieving, if they're behaving, it's really connecting with their children. I think that's really where the magic happens, in terms of bringing them to their potential. And yeah,
I totally agree with you, because growing up also,
yeah,
I think that was something that I was able to get from my parents. Although, of course, they had a different way of times, the way that they were taught to be as a person, or even the communication skills. I think now parents, or even like Nick and I, we're more open to really talking to our
yeah,
kids, like really like understanding
yes,
their. Sometimes I feel as though, okay, maybe it's too much, but at the end of the day, it's like
yes,
I
I
think
know, I know.
that zone. No, because I saw this. I listened to this pastor, and he had like or maybe you said it, like there was a jar full of
Yes, the
marbles.
jar.
You know,
Yes,
yeah, the
the
jar.
big
And
rocks. The big rocks. Yeah,
right, so the jar represents the days that your child actually has in your home, right?
yeah, that's
And
right.
when they turn a certain age, sometimes they leave the home to go to college, or just start working, being independent, and going, or maybe having their own family. But that's where I was just like, oh no, let me let
Yeah,
me make each day
yeah,
and get to know them and
matter.
them,
That's
and all of a
right,
sudden,
right.
like for you, right? Like all of a sudden now you have a college
Yeah.
graduate now, or a college student. All of a sudden you're gonna have two college students.
Graduate. I have a graduate.
I'm just like, oh my gosh. But
It's so
right, like it's
fun.
almost,
Yeah,
it's so fast. So I guess what we're trying
yeah,
to say here, guys, I mean, especially to the moms who had strict
yeah.
parents, because I know I was to another inspiring woman yesterday, and she talked about her mom was a tiger mom. And so I was like, oh no, I don't want to be like that.
Yeah.
But I know there is also a
I
fine line of
know.
discipline and respect as the parent and the child. But at the same
Yes,
time, I think majority of the time, like Janice was sharing, is that have fun with your children, because those are the moments that they will
yeah.
remember the most,
That's right.
right?
That's right. So that's why when we launched our theme, remember the theme in Blue Leaf, the theme is make time for what matters. That's our
Yes,
lesson
with
for the
the
year.
red ball.
And yes, no, that's pass it on mom. That's last
Okay.
year. How fast, no?
Oh,
This year, make
oh,
time for what
it
matters.
is.
And
Uh-oh.
the first theme, every month we have a element. So the first
Mm-hmm.
February was make time for silly. It's make time for
Yes.
silly. It's be silly. Because when you laugh together, that's what sticks, right? Like, for example, us, when we remember our parents, of course, we remember nung napagalitan tayo and stuff like that. But we remember the silly moments, right? So when our parents were not afraid to be children themselves, to find the childlike attitude in them and be with and sit down on the floor and be messy with us. So every month we have a theme, and our theme this month is make time to grow. It's finding time to learn, because we, even if we're already old and mature,
Yeah.
we can be forever students, especially in the pandemic. Like, we can take lessons, or the way you are growing, becoming a Facebook Live host and all, like evolving. Right? We can still evolve and grow and learn new skills. Um, so there, one of our themes is make time for what matters. Knowing what matters is the first step. That is knowing what your priorities are, what gives you joy, um, what is your life about, how do you want to live your life, and then spending time on those things. Like, even a few minutes a day is enough. Yeah,
And that's called being intentional, right? Being intentional of
that's
spending
right.
time with children,
Exactly.
doing activities with them. I mean,
Yes.
especially now, in the Philippines, of course, we're still in lockdown somewhat, or advised to stay home
Yeah.
unless you really need
Yes.
to. I know the children are still not allowed to be out, but for you, do you feel as though it's very timely with your advocacies to really support
Yeah.
families, especially at this time?
Yes. When the pandemic happened, it was hard for me to be away. So my first emotion was really a feeling of guilt for being away. Because if I was in Manila, I'd be like activating and helping out and trying to connect people. But then I couldn't do much from here. What we did was we shifted all our events online, and started putting out talks that I felt were relevant to this current situation. So we talk about mindfulness, fitness, and we wanted to inject fun things too, because it was becoming so serious. Like, people are always talking about the pandemic and how we should sanitize and things like that. So we put in like fun stuff like crafting and all that, just to try to support the emotional and mental needs of moms. Um, so it's really the pandemic. I'm sure for you as well, and I've talked to other moms. It really allowed us to just to be home, which was really so precious. Like, we were rushing all over the place before the pandemic. I would have like 4 or 5 meetings a day. And then you realize you actually don't have to have those meetings. You can just connect in different ways and in short, more meaningful moments. And that's what really counts, right?
Yes.
And also to invest time in ourselves is
Yes.
also key. And it doesn't even anymore mean to just, it's self-care doesn't even mean to just work out or to have me time. It's really minding how your mental health is, the way you talk to yourself, like self-talk. Like, sometimes we moms, we're so hard on ourselves. Like, we
Yeah.
always say, oh no, you forgot to give the vitamins today, and you're like, oh my god, it's like you think you're such a failure
Yeah.
when you're already giving so much. And like, if your child doesn't sleep at 9 p.m., you think you're already a bad mom and all. We have to think about and be conscious, again, be intentional about the way we talk to ourselves, and that is really self-care as well. um, it's like they say that you should talk to yourself the way you talk to a friend. And that's what really, oh my
Yes.
gosh, I
Oh,
don't
that's
do
good.
that. I'm like, I'm so bad.
That's
Yeah,
so
so
true.
self-care is another realization, um, for all of us in these times, and going within and reflecting on what matters, taking time to connect with our children and our husbands at home. And it's really simple moments, right? Like, it magnified, everything's magnified in terms of the simple moments, like even just spending 5 minutes with your child at home, because time is a bit slower, because we're not rushing around. We're more conscious of the connections, and I think our kids feel that as well.
Mhm.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
true. I always
yeah.
share with like the youth when I mentor them is that the biggest critic, or the biggest critic in your life is yourself. The man in the mirror. My
That's
favorite
right.
song by Michael Jackson. So yes,
That's right.
instead of being a critic, you talk to yourself when you're talking to your friend, giving them advice on
Yeah, yeah,
stop feeling down and things like that. And I love the fact that you said, you have to invest in yourself. And speaking about investing in yourself,
yeah,
I know that you have an amazing event coming up
yeah,
this week.
yes,
We invite
yes.
everyone. I'm going to have Janice tell us more about it.
Yeah, so
Yay!
there, so Mafe is part of our panel on Saturday, which is day one,
Yeah.
August 29, and we wanted to talk about parenting around the world. So she's our Miss Philippines, of course, Miss World Philippines, and talk about, and of course, you've lived abroad as well. So it's
Yes.
basically Expo Mom is a 2-day conference online, and we have amazing talks and speakers from all over the world. We have our keynote on Sunday is a American author who wrote the book No More Perfect Moms, and it's so
Wow.
apt right now. Yeah, that we shouldn't be striving to be perfect. I mean, what's essential is to strive to be whole, right? To be whole and authentic to ourselves and real. And so when we designed the conference, the theme, it revolved around the theme, which is a brave new us. So we felt that we have to harness courage because of changing times. Times are changing right before our eyes, especially in the last 5 months. And it takes courage to be able to get out of this and be transformed and transformed in a good way and come out of this as better people. So we wanted to have talks that would inspire and teach all of us tools, and not only motivation but also tools on how we can transform. So we have talks on education. As you know, everyone has all the moms have become teacher moms. It's
Yes.
really like, my gosh, I don't experience that because I'm away and my kids are grown. But for those with young kids, it's been a challenge, I know. And we have 2 talks on education. We have a talk on mental health. We have a fitness talk. And then your panel, we have a wellness talk wherein we have 4 wellness experts. Hindi Weber is going to talk about going back to basics, how we should connect to the earth, how our food choices are important in nourishing our body and mind, our spirits. So it's a 2-day conference. It's in a private group, so you do need to buy a ticket. Um, the thing is, as you know, Mafi, I'm a staunch advocate of mompreneurs. So besides being a fan of moms, I'm a number one fan of mompreneurs, and a lot of mompreneurs were affected by the pandemic too. So we wanted to find ways to help mompreneur businesses. So what happens is when you buy a ticket, there's a consumable shopping amount. So for example, if you buy a gold ticket, which is 3,000, you have a consumable amount to shop with of 2,500, and you get to shop during Expo Mom. So Saturday and Sunday, all the way till September 4. So there's amazing deals. Like there's 30% off on strollers and wipes. You can check out Mommy Mundo for the deals. But what we want to say is whatever you're going to shop with, or whatever you're going to shop for, will help our mompreneur businesses also in this really challenging times for small businesses. So it's going to be fun. So
Yeah.
I hope
And I know you have
you're,
an advocacy also, right? I
yes,
saw
yes,
that a portion will go also to an advocacy.
yes. Actually, we set up a nonprofit organization called Mom Share. Before, it's been running for actually since the beginning. All Mommy Mundo events, registration fees, 100% go to Mom Share. It's a fund that I have in terms of calamity, instead in case of emergencies. We do literacy projects, medical missions, and all. Um, so MomShare is our nonprofit org. So part of the proceeds of Expo Mom will go to MomShare. So when you get every ticket of Expo Mom will give you a loot bag, and there is a corresponding loot bag going to a less privileged mother after the event. So that's what we're excited about too.
Amazing, Janice. You have a huge heart, and I really admire
Thank
that.
you.
So guys, if you want to get some tickets, just visit Mommy Mundo website.
Mommymundo.com
Right?
/Expo Mom. So we have tickets. We have a 500 peso ticket if you just want to come and watch Matthew and all the other speakers. But if you want to shop, if you're looking for baby and kid essentials or stuff for your family, then get the higher price tickets. Depends on what you want, but join us because it will really be a transformative experience for all.
Amazing. I was telling your team earlier when I did the rehearsal run how amazing
Yes,
that you guys are able to still create an inspiring event for families, not only women, because like you said, there's also a support group for for dads.
for
So
that. Yeah.
um, guys, don't miss it. I do see that we have your website and
Thank
Janice's
you.
Mommy Mundo handles flashing on the bottom there. So go
Yes.
ahead and visit those social media links. I'll make sure that they are also on the caption for this
Thank
post so
you.
that if you have any questions for Janice or any more advice, I'm sure she is more than happy to greet you and answer your questions, most especially at this time. I think,
Yeah.
before we wrap up, Janice, I do want to ask you, is there anything new that you've learned about yourself,
Yeah.
most especially during this challenging time?
Oh yes, I've been growing so much in the last 5 months. I really believe that this is a time to journey inside. It's a journey inside. Like we have so much to learn about ourselves, and I guess something new that I learned about myself at my age is really that you know I felt more. My mission has become clearer. Um, I really feel that God has a way of making things clear. I mean, if your motivation is your motivations will really come out when the hard times come, right? That's the time that we're like diamonds. So with every challenge, we become brighter. And I guess being away also allowed me to let go a bit and let my team take the lead. So I like to say hi to my team because in the end, I have to let go and trust them. And I guess it really helped me make my motivation clearer because, Mommy Mundo has never been about me. Like, actually don't like talking about myself, but I do know the value of sharing my story, which is why I love invitations like this as well. Um, but really, the motivation for Mommy Mundo is to serve moms. It's not to glorify any person or, well, I like to put light on people like you and people who also have been working hard to inspire others. But I guess in a way, what I learned about myself is that it's clear motivations, which I'm happy about. But I always check, like when I do a project, I'm always checking back, what's my motivation for this? And sometimes if it's a selfish motivation, whatever you say, like even if you package it really nicely, it'll come out in the end, right? Do you agree, Mappy?
Totally, totally.
Yeah, yeah,
But that's why I wanted to share you with everyone is because you are a woman that I admire, a woman that
yeah.
takes
Thank
lead
you.
on making sure that you take care of other people at the same time your family. And I do appreciate that you took the time out. I know
Yeah,
it's
no,
early
thank
morning for
you.
you. Thank you so much, Janice, and I'll see you on Saturday.
Thank
So again,
you.
guys, if you
Yeah,
want to join the Expo Mom, do grab your tickets on the website on mommymundo.com. Is there a
yes.
page?
Backslash,
Okay.
it's mommymundo.com /Expo Mom, but you can just go to mommymundo.com and click on Expo Mom.
There you go.
Yeah, that's
Of
correct.
course, that's those. So we will see
Yeah.
you there, guys. And if you want to be more inspired, there's more speakers there. I know one of my good friends, Anna Spiritu, is also speaking. Small
Yes.
World, Gems.
Yeah.
So look out for that
I
too, guys.
know.
And Yeah, she actually told me. I was like, "Oh, yay! I'm glad that you're part of it because it's a woman that's been in my life for quite some time too. So I think we met probably the same time, or no, even before
Yeah.
those 6 years. No, me and Anne have known each other for 20 years. Sorry, right? More than 20 years. Anyways,
Yeah.
regardless, we'll see you guys on Saturday and Sunday for the Expo Mom. And congratulations, advance congratulations, Janice and your team
Thank
for having me. And I'm sure it will be a successful event. So with that, guys, we'd like to thank Janice. You're amazing. Or
thank
Anne.
you,
Hi, Anne. She's tuned in.
Nan.
And also my mom. Hi, Mom. Thanks for always supporting. Yeah, there she is. Don't worry, Mom. I'll get you a ticket so you can be tuned in. But anyways, guys, thank you for being part of this episode because actions speak louder than words. And I'll see you in our next In Love With Me series, which is tomorrow at 4 p.m. See you guys. And thank you, Kumu viewers. Thank you, Janice.
Thank you for watching and Love of Me series.